చేస్తారా
సార్ ఇది వచ్చిన వెంటనే చేసేద్దాం ఇది
చెప్పారు సార్
You can just do this. You just do it off. So ask them to come out now. We'll do that. We ask all the family to come out. RDO అండి కాన్ఫరెన్స్ మా రిజిస్టర్ మా ప్రొవైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ క్యాంపస్ లైఫ్ ప్రొవైస్ ఛాన్సలర్ మనం ఓపెన్ చేసేసి వెళ్ళిపోతాం మళ్ళీ అతను మెట్లకి జస్ట్ ఆస్కింగ్ ద ఫ్యామిలీ టు కమ్ డౌన్ వాళ్ళందరితో I don't want to again climb up and come back down, so we'll open this and then we'll head inside. So if all of you can just come over this way. One of the family members should pull it from that side. Huh? Anyone, I mean, choice is yours. Yeah. And we both do it together because it opens out of the center. So we need you over there. And all the family, please come and stand this way. Or actually we'll see it opening and then we'll take a photo. Yeah, ready? Shall we go?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Now the family photo.
So can we all come over to this side and we just take one?
సార్ బయట వస్తుంది అంటే బ్యాక్ టాప్ నేమ్ రావాలి
Family members, close family, please come over. Meera pilwala.
నేమ్ రావాలి నేమ్ రావాలి ఫుల్ అయిపోతే
రెండు వస్తున్నాయా?
వస్తాయి సార్ సార్ పేరు రావాలి సార్ ఒకసారి
I think we'll have to move all back.
రావాలి అంత ఫుల్ అయిపోతే
ఓకే అని చెప్పండి మేము వెళ్తాం.
ఓకే
Vice Chancellor. University of Hyderabad, Dean of Life Sciences. We're all
साफ कैसा करें?
Basically, this institution was only a center. It was a center for Gandhian studies. Once it has expanded, we made it Etham School of Social Sciences and Humanities, and with a center for Gandhian studies. Kalaga building kuda chestunannani mee school peru kuda itran will open the building. Sharad garu, can you call Vani garu? Vani? We wanted your names on this also, so we have this plaque has the three of your names, so we want you here as we open this. Yeah, just the three of the children. I'll go stand there. Sir.
First floor.
A warm and hearty welcome to the esteemed chief guest of the day, Honorable former Vice President of India, Shri N. Venkaiah Naidu ji. The Geetam fraternity extends a warm welcome to you, sir. Distinguished dignitaries, invitees, illustrious guests, teachers, students, press, and electronic media, I extend a hearty welcome to the brilliant gathering for the ceremonial inauguration of Geetam School of Humanities and Social Sciences in memory of Padma Shri Koneru Ramakrishna Rao. Silently, one by one, in the infinite meadows of heaven, blossom the lovely stars, the forget-me-nots of the angels. Longfellow gives us the idea that those we love become stars shining in the night sky. Terry Pratchett said, "Do you not know that a man is not deceased while his name is still spoken?" And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here today to remember a man, a great man indeed, whose heart and soul has nurtured this edifice so fondly and so profoundly, nourishing every brick that has gone into constructing the structure with the grooving reminiscences of Mahatma Gandhi. This great man is no longer with us today. However, he continues to live in our hearts, in every piece and parcel and segment of this building, every nook and corner, the sprawling yoga hall, this invigorating Sandesh Sabha, the monumental museum, and his very ornately sequestered room. All of them echo his name. And this day will go down in the annals of Geetam's history, as it has decided to dedicate this building in memory of this great man, Padma Shri Koneru Ramakrishna Rao, former Chancellor Geetam, who was an iconic paragon, Gandhian scholar, philosopher, a renowned psychologist, a charismatic personality, an avid reader, a prolific writer, and who was the leading light of Geetam. Professor Rao had reached the zenith in his professional and academic career. He had to his credit manifold professional achievements and plethora of awards to cherish. He had a coveted profile and a fulfilling family life. He served the nation by being a true Gandhian to the core and authored many books. He had witnessed life in all its kaleidoscopic academic splendor, yet there was in him an everlasting thirst to contribute to the academic shelves of the library. A man who had a pleasant bearing, charm, and a calm demeanor, Professor K. Ramakrishna Rao is a name that time cannot erase and forget. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome you all to the dedication ceremony. Let us now have a glimpse of the manifold accomplishments of Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao through this audio visual. Can we have the audio, please?
Padma Shri Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao is a legend. His life is an inspiration for many, and only a few can model their lives after him. Born on the 4th of October 1932 to Srimati Annapurna and Shri Koneru Nagabhushanam in the small village of Enikepadu near Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. He was the first to attend college from his tiny village. Brought up by his grandparents after the early demise of his mother when he was only 9 years old, he married Srimati Sarojini Devi in 1950. He is blessed with 2 daughters, 1 son and 6 grandchildren, all occupying prestigious positions abroad.
Professor Rao studied at Andhra University and University of Chicago and obtained PhD and D.Litt degrees in philosophy and psychology respectively from Andhra University. As a lecturer in philosophy at Andhra University, Koneru Ramakrishna Rao was drawn towards parapsychology. His quest led him to the United States to learn from J.B. Rhine, the father of experimental parapsychology. At the age of 32, he was elected president of International Parapsychological Association, becoming the only Asian to hold the position 3 times. He laid the foundation for the scientific study of parapsychology for the first time in India by setting up the Department of Psychology and Parapsychology at Andhra University, the only one of its kind in the country. He also served as an executive director of the Foundation for Research on the Nature of Man in USA.
Professor Ramakrishna Rao is regarded as the father of the Indian psychology. He had an epoch-making tenure as Professor of Psychology at Andhra University and as the President of the Indian Academy of Applied Psychology. It is a well-known saying in academic circles that Dr. K. Ramakrishna Rao is to Indian psychology what Dr. S. Radhakrishnan is to Indian philosophy.
Koneru Ramakrishna Rao is a pioneer in many ways. He was perhaps among the first to provide a scientific and systematic interpretation of classical Indian wisdom in the contemporary context. He served as chairman of the Indian Council for Philosophical Research for 2 terms.
Generation after generation of students remember him as a cheerful, dynamic, and a highly motivating teacher. Vice chancellors used to vie to attend his lectures. Following Gandhian ideals, he focused on enabling education to reach the lowest strata of society, without compromising on quality and excellence. These lofty ideals marked his eventful tenures as Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, Chairman of the Andhra Pradesh State Commissionerate of Higher Education, Advisor to the Andhra Pradesh Government on Education, As a head of the Andhra Pradesh State Planning Board and confidant and advisor to the popular Chief Minister, Dr. N.T. Rama Rao, who considered him as one of his Navratnas, he was associated with several innovative schemes and offered a number of highly effective suggestions for the improvement of school and rural education.
Professor K. Ramakrishna Rao is well known as a great builder of educational institutions both in the material and the intellectual sense of the term. The magnificent Dr. V.S. Krishna Library and the Department of Library and Information Science at Andhra University. The Geetham School of Gandhian Studies at Geetham University, Visakhapatnam is his latest endeavor to build an institution where future generations would be taught the application of Gandhian values. The latest in his string of appointments is the Chancellorship of Geetham University. He is also a chairman of the Geetham School of Gandhian Studies, the fruition of the long-cherished dream of this staunch Gandhian, achieved in collaboration with his good friend and visionary, educationist and statesman Dr. M.V.V.S. Murthy, Honorable President Geetham.
He sees Gandhi's socio-political philosophy as indispensable to recognize, reassert and realize the plurality of human identities and to foster love and altruism in humanity.
Professor Ramakrishna Rao Garu, I know him from my student days. I admire him because he is a treasure of knowledge and is an embodiment of our culture, our Indian values. He has the character, caliber, capacity and conduct, discipline, dynamism, dedication and devotion, all in one. So I respect him. And even now at this age also 80 plus, he looks like 20 plus.
In his 85th year, as he did 60 years back, raising expectations of many more seminal intellectual contributions from him. For the young minds of his country, whom he loves with an unbridled affection, Koneru Ramakrishna Rao's story carries limitless inspiration. It is the story of a man who rose from a humble background, devoted himself to the selfless quest for wisdom, and immersed himself in the service of society, always true to his ideals of diligence, virtue, and excellence. May the enduring dynamism and charisma of Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao continue to light up the path towards greatness for many more years and many more generations to come.
I'm delighted to welcome Shri Bharat, Honorable President Geetham, to grace the dais. It's my privilege to welcome Professor Dayananda Siddhavatam, Honorable Vice Chancellor Geetham, to grace the dais. I'm pleased to invite Mr. Sarachandra Rao Koneru, President, Bell American Group, to grace the dais. He also happens to be the son of Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao. I'm equally honored to invite Mr. Purna Sagurti, Chairman, Global Corporate and Investment Banking, Bank of America. He happens to be the nephew of Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao. A strategist with a passion for good governance, an astute politician and a philanthropist, I welcome Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, former Vice President India, to grace the dais. Today we are deeply honored and privileged by the esteemed presence of Honorable Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, former Vice President of India, and the distinguished chief guest of the day. I request you, sir, to please grace the dais. May I now request Mr. Bharat to address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. So I remember a day that happened last year. I think many of the family members were not here, but I think if you were there, you will hear a repeat a lot of what I already said on that day. I see some faces here that are familiar, I think, who I saw that day. Thank you, Venkaiah Naidu garu, to accept our invitation on such short notice to come here. I think today is a special day for us at Geetam in many different ways. Remembering Ramakrishna Rao garu, reminiscing the story of this institution, this building. It's named after him today. My role here as president, how it has been shaped by him indirectly and directly over the last decade. And the children who are here with us, all of these bring a lot of thoughts. I know we have speakers, but I'll take some time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes to speak. So let me first start off with my journey with him. I started working in Geetam in 2011, and he became our Chancellor in 2009 or 10, if I'm not wrong. He served as Chancellor for 9 years. And he treated me like his own grandson. He rarely called me by my name. He used to always say Nana or Amma, something like that. And also very physically affectionate. Not just someone who spoke kindly or lovingly with his words, but his actions were like that. And he always enjoyed spending time. Whenever I used to go to him, he used to love telling stories. And his association not just with Murthy Tata, but with Mr. NTR and the reasons why he chose to come back to India over the last 3 decades, 4 decades, the various circumstances, things that people read about in the news, but what happened inside the room were great anecdotes to listen to. And his commitment to Gandhian values, I think, was one of the strong bonding factors between Tata and Dr. Ramakrishna Rao garu. I think that was a great partnership. So let me fast forward. In 2014, I left Geetam. For 4 years, I was away. In 2018, Tata got almost, terminally ill with dengue fever. He thought he'll die. And I met him in April, May of 2018. And then he said, Bharat, will you move to Vizag and contest elections? So he never used to encourage me to get into politics. He used to say that until you're 45, 50, stay away. But then I don't know what changed. Maybe he thought he won't survive that illness. I said yes. Fortunately, he recovered fully. And then I checked back because then I was like, maybe now he's changed his mind. Did you really mean it? He said yes. So we made plans, but unfortunately, the day I was flying to Vizag, he wanted me to live in a house of my own, not with him. So I was entering into a lease agreement, and the day that I was flying to Vizag, an hour before I would have normally woken up, I got a call that your grandfather passed away in an accident in the US. It was shocking. And then everything obviously changed, and all of the family assembled here. And it took us a few days to figure out, process all of this, but this accident happened close to Anchorage in Alaska. The first big challenge is, how do we get him here? 4 of the 5 people in the accident passed away. So after a week or 2 weeks of all of the events playing out, then the big question in the family, and maybe even in society, what happens to Geetam? Who leads Geetam? At least good thing my grandfather has done is he's removed competition. He's removed my father and my uncle from the board. So it's not like I had to compete with them. It was only 2 of my cousins and I. From the direct family who were there, obviously there were extended family members. And he always used to say that we don't own this. This is a commitment of the family. We can play the role of stewards, but not owners. Those days just make me emotional. So, as is anything in family, there is drama. And I was keen to lead Geetam because I was on the board for almost 7 years by then, and I worked in Geetam, very associated with the work that we can do here. So one of those days, I received a letter, a closed envelope from Ramakrishna Garu. I didn't know what it said. And nobody had belled the cat until then. So I opened this letter, and in this letter, he's written a very well-written note talking about his experiences with Geetam so far, and advising me, because it is addressed to me, that I should take the lead, step forward and offer to lead the university, and that he has belief in me, in my leadership for the organization. So by that point, I think many members of the governing body were in alignment that Bharat seems to be a decent guy, but he's 28 years old. Is he equipped to lead an organization of this size? Why doesn't he become the second in command and find somebody else? This is the kind of discussion at that point. So from the Chancellor at the time, from such a luminary, getting this letter was for me only because I was in doubt myself. Now, fast forward 4 years, I can say, no, it was the best decision. But 4 years ago, this amount of certainty was not there. So to have that vision, that conviction, the courage to speak before anybody else did, I think was pivotal for me, obviously in my life, but also I think for the organization, because if not for him, I don't know how things would have been or how things would have played out. And that was like the small ball that became an avalanche, and things started aligning after that. And I came into this role, family came on board, and then I had challenges within my first 2 months itself. Plus, by the way, I didn't let go of my other opportunity, which was to enter into public life. So the debate was, can I do both? Can I contest elections and lead a university of this size? I said, what 28-year-old gets this opportunity? You have only one life. So let's try. Worst case, we fail. But then the challenges that came and the decisions that we took, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of those, but they were crucial decisions, very crucial decisions at the time. And I went and consulted him. This is what I'm thinking. And there are 2 important things. One, which I told him, and after some debate, he agreed. The other, he didn't agree. But I still went ahead. And I feared that he'll be upset that I didn't agree to his suggestion. But I think the greatness was the next day he acted like everything is fine, and he's like, I'm here to give you advice, but the call should be yours. So I think that magnanimity coming from somebody like that really gave me a lot of strength. And that early days, I think, gave me the confidence to move forward and do the things that we have done over the last 4 years. So that I'm ever grateful to him for that. And during our conversation then, for those close to 3 years that we had, he spoke about many things. He spoke about his journey being the vice chairman of the planning commission for the state and vice chancellor of Andhra University and many other things. And one thing he used to keep saying is that I have this money that I have been wanting to give, close to $1 million to Geetam. But why aren't you taking it? I have no problem. I would have happily taken it. But Government of India had put a restriction through an act called FCRA, which is, I forget the full form, but Foreign Contribution Remittance Act, I think, and which limited money coming from outside of India, and trusts and societies in particular needed to register, and so far we've still been unable to do that. But time and again he used to say that money is going to go away. I've committed to Geetam, and I also honestly did not pursue it because I didn't have much trust that the government would actually do anything about it. I think just the fact that he trusted in us in Geetam was strength enough for me. We lost him last year after a very long and illustrious life, and we lost his wife soon, just a few months before. So I think even his energy levels changed. And I could see, obviously, there was many of you who have met him, there was deterioration in his memory, and as ages, the body also. And after his passing, I think I felt that given the life that he has led, it's something to celebrate. I did not grieve as much because I felt he lived a long life. I did feel sad that for the last decade, he wasn't able to spend as much time with his children and his grandchildren, family, because he chose to be here. And that, I think, was a great sacrifice. But I met you, the children, and we spoke about many things. But the aspect of the donation, it still was very real, and something even I had forgotten, but they brought it up, saying that our father had this wish and that we would like to follow through on that wish. Now, having seen the way family deals with wealth from close, from afar, having heard, it's one when the patriarch or the head of the family is alive, but it's another when they are not. And to have even two people be on the same word is difficult. But to have an entire family say that we stand by what our father said indicates that not only was he a great academic, a great leader, but he was a great father. And if not for raising children well and giving them the space and trust and freedom to express themselves, but at the same time respect their father, because I know that everything is not as it appears on the surface, but our actions define who we are. I really appreciate the three of you for being who you are and saying what you did. I've seen many families be destroyed because of wealth, because of money. There's petty things, money doesn't matter so much, but somehow for people during their life, they feel it does. But if you have been like that, it tells me that he's raised children with the right values and he's empowered them through their life to do the right thing. I think that is an inspiration for all of us. I think you are a testament to him, and being here gives us the hope. I need a few seconds. The selfish thing for me is, through what you have done, I hope you will inspire many more people to give. Because unfortunately, in India, if people have enough money, they'll set up their own college. They won't donate to another. So I should say on this platform that since we were founded in 1980, this is the largest donation outside of the founders that has been made to Geetam. And the amount that we are now, that the family has committed to contribute for all of your knowledge is close to rupees 4.5 crores. This is a significant donation to an existing institution. We have seen many founders, donors give to new institutions. But there are few institutions in the states of Andhra and Telangana that have been able to attract this kind of donation. And I think even though the three of you live in the US, the work that you are doing gives a lot of hope to institutions in India, in Andhra and Telangana. And I'm very grateful to you for doing this. Thank you. And what is this money going to be used for? There are many things that we can do, but I think what Ramakrishna Rao Garu stood for, which was the promotion of values, Gandhian values in particular, and this school was earlier called the School for Gandhian Studies. We've expanded it further, and we want to realize the potential of what liberal arts education can do, because we have a lot of students in India today who understand math, engineering, but understand very little of what good communication is, and more importantly, have very little understanding of what good values mean. That I think is a very, very big concern. Even the IITs and the IIMs of India have been failing to create or develop citizens who have that consistent value system. I think, and the role models that are available in society, unfortunately, are not leading people in that direction either. So I think the work that we want to do through this institution and through Geetam is not only provide skills, knowledge, but also to imbibe a strong set of values in our students, in our faculty, so that we can be a big beacon of hope in times of uncertainty and times of, frankly, I mean, disappointment in the way states and countries are being run in India and beyond. So this gives me the energy to work doubly, triply hard in the work that we're doing, to keep moving forward and to keep building Geetam into one that is an organization that is transparent, that is ambitious, that is consistent to what it says it wants to do, and really inspire institutions locally and beyond to walk in those footsteps. So thank you for creating this opportunity for us, and thank you for all the family members for coming here to participate in this event. And I'm going to leave the stage on anecdotes, because I'm sure all the speakers on the stage have something more to share. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking your heart out, sir, in honor of Professor Rao. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji shares a great bond and friendship with Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a pleasure listening to Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, an accomplished orator. May I now request him to address the gathering.
Right. Sri Bharat Acharya Dayanand ji, Sri Purna Sagurti, Sarat Chandra Rao, Rani Rao and Vani Rao, the other grandchildren of Ramakrishna Garu, and also friends, admirers of Ramakrishna Garu, brothers and sisters. After going through the AV of Ramakrishna Garu, I don't think I need to say anything further. It was very well documented. I should compliment the people who have done it. Secondly, with regard to the Geetam and the present leadership, Bharat spoke from his heart. I only has to say a few things. Sri Ramakrishna garu గొప్ప విద్యావేత్త, తాత్విక చింతన కలిగినటి యొక్క ఈ తాత్విక ప్రపంచంలోకి ఎన్నో లోతులు చూసి తన ఆలోచనలను ప్రపంచంతో ఇతరులతో పెంచుకున్నట్టు యొక్క మహావ్యక్తి. అన్నిటికన్నా గొప్ప మానవతావాది. మన తెలుగువాడు కావడం, మనందరికీ తెలిసినవాడు కావడం చాలా సంతోషకర విషయం. ఒక రకంగా మన అందరి యొక్క అదృష్టం. ఆయనతో సంపర్కం, ఆయనతో స్నేహం లేదా ఆయన అభిమానాన్ని మనం సంపాదించుకోగలడం. నేను విశ్వవిద్యాలయంలో చేరినప్పటి నుంచి శ్రీ రామకృష్ణరావు గారి యొక్క వ్యక్తిత్వం, ఆయన వక్తృత్వం, ఆయన కర్తృత్వం, ఆయన మిత్రత్వం, ఆయన నేతృత్వం ఇవన్నీ కూడా నన్ను ఎంతో ప్రభావితం చేశాయి. శ్రీ అశోక్ నాకున్న అత్యంత సన్నిహిత మిత్రుల్లో ఒకడు. సో అశోక్తో సంపర్కం వలన, స్నేహం వలన రామకృష్ణరావు గారి గురించి మరింతగా తెలుసుకునే అవకాశం నాకు లభించింది. ఈ యూనివర్సిటీ ఆంధ్ర విశ్వవిద్యాలయంలో ఆ సైకాలజీ విభాగం అక్కడికి పోగానే అదొక వాతావరణం వేరుగా ఉండేది. ఇదంతా ఒక రకంగా ఉంటే అక్కడ మరింత ఉత్సాహకరమైన ఉత్తేజితమైన ప్రేరణ కలిగించే వాతావరణం మనకు కనపడేది ఆ క్యాంపస్లో. చాలామంది గొప్ప గొప్ప అధ్యాపకులు, విద్యావేత్తలు వివిధ విభాగాలకు అధ్యక్షత వహించారు, నాయకత్వం వహించారు, మంచి పనులు చేశారు. వాళ్ళు ఎవరిని తక్కువ చేసి చూపించడం, మాట్లాడడం నాకు ఇష్టం లేదు. అనేక మంది గొప్పవాళ్ళు విశ్వవిద్యాలయంలో పనిచేశారు, దీన్ని తీర్చిదిద్దారు. కానీ ఎందుకో ఆ సైకాలజీ విభాగానికి వెళ్ళగానే ఆ వాతావరణమే మార్పు ఉండేది. ఇక్కడంతా రణగొణ ధ్వని ఉంటే అక్కడంతా చాలా ప్రశాంతత ఉండేది. ఆ తర్వాత పరిశుభ్రత ఉండేది. ప్రశాంతత, పరిశుభ్రత. దాంతోపాటు అక్కడ వెలిసిన విద్యా కుసుమాలు మరింత పరిణమించి మంచి వాసనలు వెదజల్లేవి. దీనికంతా ప్రధాన కారణం నాయకత్వం, శ్రీ రామకృష్ణరావు గారి యొక్క నేతృత్వం. ఒక విశ్వవిద్యాలయంలో, ఒకే ప్రాంగణంలో మార్పు ఎలా ఉంటుంది, నాయకత్వం గట్టిదైతే, ఉద్దేశం మంచిదైతే, పట్టుదల ఉంటే ఎలా చూపించవచ్చు అనే విషయాన్ని ఆయన రుజువు చేసి చూపించారు. అందుకని నాకు వారిని కలిసినప్పటి నుంచి ఆయన మీద ఒక పెద్ద గౌరవభావం, గురుత్వం, ప్రేమ, అభిమానం కలిగాయి. దానితో పాటు ఆయన కారణం ఏదైనా కావచ్చు కానీ నా పట్ల ఎంతో వాత్సల్యంగా ఉండేవాడు, అభిమానం చూపించేవాడు. నేను చదువుకునే రోజుల్లోనే ఆయన ఒకరోజు బహిరంగ సమావేశంలో చెప్పాడు, ఈ యువకుడు ఎప్పుడు ఈ దేశానికిలో పెద్ద నాయకుడు అవుతాడని చెప్పాను. ఆ రోజుల్లో నాకే కొంత ఆశ్చర్యం అనిపించింది ఆయన చెప్పిన మాట. ఎందుకంటే నేను ఏదన్నా అన్యాయం జరిగితే, అక్రమం జరిగితే, ఏదన్నా ఒక మార్పు కావాలంటే ముందుండే అలవాటు మొదటి నుంచి నాకుంది. వెనక ఉండడం, వెనక లైన్లో కూర్చోవడం, క్లాసులో కొంత వెనక కూర్చునేవాడిని, ఎందుకంటే తొందరగా వెళ్ళిపోవాలి కాబట్టి బయటికి. చదువు తప్పితే మిగతా విషయాలపైన ఎక్కువ శ్రద్ధ చూపించేవాడిని. నేను ఒక రకంగా చెప్పాలంటే నేను ఐ వాజ్ మోర్ ఏ స్టూడెంట్ యాక్టివిస్ట్ అనే గుడ్ స్టూడెంట్. క్రమశిక్షణ మిగతా విషయాలని పాటిస్తున్నప్పటికి కూడా చదువు మీద కన్నా మిగతా విషయాలపైన ఎక్కువ శ్రద్ధ. ఆ క్లాసులకు పోలేకపోతే ఆ తర్వాత సాయంత్రం పూట మా మిత్రులు హాస్టల్లో ఆ రోజు క్లాసులో ఏం చెప్పారో మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పేవాళ్ళు నాకు. నేను దాన్ని బట్టి అర్థం చేసుకునేవాడిని. అందువలన కొంత మార్కులు అవి పర్వాలేదు, మొత్తం మీద బాగానే వచ్చేవి. ఆ తరుణంలో నాకు ఒక రకమైన ఆలోచన కలిగించి దేశంలో గుర్తింపు పొందిన స్థాయికి చేరుకుంటాడని మాస్టర్ గారు చెప్పిన మాట ఎంతో ప్రేరణ ఇచ్చింది. ఆ తర్వాత విషయం మీకు తెలిసిందే, నేను దాని గురించి చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఆయన ఈ విశ్వవిద్యాలయానికి ఛాన్సలర్గా అంగీకరించడం, దీన్ని మరింత మెరుగుదిద్ది మూర్తి గారి యొక్క ఆహ్వానం మేరకు ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి దీన్ని గుర్తింపులోకి తీసుకురావడం, గీతం విశ్వవిద్యాలయాన్ని రాష్ట్రంలో దేశంలో గుర్తింపులు తేవడంలో ఆయన ఎంతో కృషి చేశాడు. అందువలన ఇవాళ ఈ గీతం యొక్క రూపురేఖలు మారి గుర్తింపులోకి వచ్చిందంటే దానికి ప్రధాన కారకుల్లో శ్రీ రామకృష్ణరావు గారు ఒకరు. ఆయన అలాగే సంపాదించిన పేరుతో పాటు సంపాదించిన ఆస్తిని కూడా ఒక మంచి మహత్కార్యానికి ఉపయోగించాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో గీతం విద్యా సంస్థలకు తన ఆస్తిని రాయడం చాలా ముదావహం. ఎంత ఆస్తి ఉన్నవాళ్ళైనా ఆఖరికి మనం చూస్తూ ఉంటాం, ఆ రోజుకు వచ్చేసరికి పిల్లలకి రాస్తూ ఉంటారు, సహజంగా ఉంటుంది. ఆయన ఈ సమాజంలో ఉన్న అందరినీ విద్యార్థుల్ని పిల్లలుగా భావించి వాళ్ళ కోసం, వాళ్ళ భవిష్యత్తు కోసం ఆయన వాటిని కేటాయించారు. అందువల్ల చాలా గొప్ప వ్యక్తిత్వాన్ని ఆయన చూపించాడు. ఆయన చూపిన మార్గంలో వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు ఇవాళ మరి ఈ రాణి, వాణి, శరత్ ఈ ముగ్గురు కూడా నడవడం, ఆయన స్ఫూర్తిని అర్థం చేసుకొని ఆశించకుండా ఈరోజు అదే కార్యక్రమానికి దాన్ని ఖర్చు పెట్టాలని చెప్పని నొక్కి చెప్పడం చాలా సంతోషకరమైన విషయం. వాళ్ళ హృదయపూర్వకంగా నేను అభినందిస్తున్నాను. గాడ్ బ్లెస్ యు ఆల్. ఈ సంపద మన వెనకిటితో రాదు. ఈ విషయాన్ని అందరూ గుర్తించాలి. మనం చేసిన మంచి పని, మహత్కార్యం, అదే మన వెంట మన తర్వాత కూడా వస్తుంది. ఆ విషయాన్ని అందరూ గుర్తుంచుకోవాలి. ఆయన జీవితం నుంచి మనం తెలుసుకోవాల్సిన విషయం అది. మనం చూసాం, అనేక మంది విపరీతంగా సంపాదించి ఆస్తులు కూడగట్టి ఆఖరికి ఎవరైనా సరే ఆ పోయేటప్పుడు అక్కడికే వెళ్ళాలా? ఆ కావాల్సిన స్పేసు 6 అడుగులు బై 3 అడుగులో, కొద్ది భారీ శరీరం అయితే 4 అడుగులో కావాల్సి వస్తుంది. అంతకు మించి ఏం చేసుకుంటారు చెప్పండి? ఇవి వెనకటితో రావు కదా, ఇవేవి వెనక్కి రావు, వెనకటితో రావు. కాబట్టి తమ జీవితకాలంలో తన జీవితకాలంలో 10 మందికి ఉపయోగపడే విధంగా జీవితాన్ని మలుచుకోవడం, ఆ విధంగా చేయడం చాలా అవసరం అనేది మనం అందరం కూడా గుర్తించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. అనేక ఉదాహరణలు మన ముందు కనబడుతూ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ క్రియేషన్ ఆఫ్ వెల్త్ వ్యక్తిగతం కన్నా సమాజానికి ఉపయోగపడే పదంగా ఆ వెల్త్ని, అంటే సంపదను సృష్టించే ప్రయత్నం చేయాలా. కావలసిన మేధస్సును మన పిల్లల్లో, మన యువతరంలో, మన అవతరంలో మనం కలిగిస్తే వాళ్ళు ఈ సమాజాన్ని మరింత శక్తివంతమైన సమాజంగా తయారు చేస్తారు. ఇండియా ఈజ్ ఆన్ ద మూవ్, undoubtedly. Once upon a time, India was known as Vispaguru. Students from across the globe, they used to come and study here. Nalanda, Chacellor, Vikramasela. All these universities, they were a place of learning. And children across the globe, they used to come and study here. With the advent of this colonial rule, we lost our moorings and our greatness. Those fellows came and they looted us, they cheated us, they robbed us. These words are very mild. Much more things they have done to this country. Those people. మనం ఒకప్పుడు గొప్ప దేశమైనా, బట్ ఇండియా నెవర్ అటాక్డ్ ఎనీ కంట్రీ, నెవర్ ట్రై టు బాస్ ఓవర్ ఎనీ కంట్రీ. ప్రపంచానికి విజ్ఞానాన్ని అందించాలా అనేంటి తపన తప్పితే మరేం కూడా కాదు. ఈవెన్ టుడే ఇఫ్ ఇండియా వాంట్ టు బి లీడర్, వీ వాంట్ టు బి లీడర్ టు స్ప్రెడ్ ద మెసేజ్ ఆఫ్ లవ్ అండ్ పీస్. And share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. వసుదైక కుటుంబకం, ప్రపంచమంతా ఒక కుటుంబం. సర్వే జన సుఖినో భవంతు అనేది మన పెద్దలు మనకు అందించినటువంటి వారసత్వం. దాన్ని నిలబడడం కోసం ప్రయత్నం చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో కూడా ఉంది. ఆ దిశలో ముందుకు వెళ్ళాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. టుడే, యాజ్ I told, India is on the move. But some people are not able to digest the emergence of India once again on the international scene and becoming a strong. India is being heard, respected, revered. We also have a fortunately we have a leader who is able and also stable and trying to take the country forward by reforms. Reforms are the need of the hour. Reforms for what? Reforms for the betterment of the life of the people. To make the people's life more comfortable and happy. Mere comfort will not make you happy. Something else. So our philosophy, our thoughts, our Gandhian values, our heritage, culture given to us by our forefathers, we must preserve, we must revisit, and we must pass on to our children. That's why I say we must go back to our roots. This is the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. This is what Ramakrishna Garu believed. We used to have discussion whenever we used to meet and then about this value system, about our culture, our heritage. He worked a lot and he gave a lot to the society also. That has to be preserved. It has to be protected. It has to be propagated. It has to be taken forward. That's the real tribute we can pay to him. And coming to this institution, Murthy Garu has done a great job by building this institution. He was a visionary. And then he developed it with all the might that is required. He was selfless. Nowadays, you know that the politics, education, health, they were, once upon a time, they were treated as mission, noble mission. But of late, these missions are becoming centers of commissions, and they are doing only omissions and giving a lot of remissions, and they lost the passion. You must have the passion for the nation. That is what is required. That is lacking now in the society because selfishness has developed. We must get back to that and give back to society. Society has given so much to us, we must give back to society. And the wealth are the institutions that are created. We must act as trustees. ధర్మ కర్తృత్వం అనే సిద్ధాంతాన్ని మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు చెప్పారు. ఆ విధంగా మనం మన జీవితాన్ని మలుచుకోవాలి. ఈ గీతం విద్యా సంస్థలు నేతృత్వం వహిస్తున్న భరత్ యువకుడు, ఉత్సాహవంతుడు, తను ఈ విద్యాలయాలకి ఒక ధర్మకర్త, ఈ సంస్థలకు ధర్మకర్తగా దీన్ని సరిగా నడపాలి, ఆ తర్వాత తరానికి అందించాలి అనే ఉద్దేశంతో పనిచేస్తారని చెప్పి నేను భావిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. అలాగే ఈ విద్యా సంస్థల్లో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా తమకు అందించబడిన విజ్ఞానాన్ని ఇతరులతో పంచుకోవాలి. ప్రతి ఒక్కదాన్ని నేను ఎప్పుడు చెబుతుంటాను, ప్రతిదీ పెంచుకో, సంపద కూడా పెంచుకో, తర్వాత పంచుకో. అయితే పెంచకుండా పంచితే పంచి మాత్రం మిగులుతుంది, ఇంకేం మిగలదు. ఇది నేను ఎప్పుడు చెబుతుంటాను, కావాలని చెబుతుంటాను. ఎందుకంటే అందరికి తెలవాలి, ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి తెలవాలి, అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా పెంచాలి, పంచాలి. పెంచాలంటే create wealth and then distribute wealth. But without creating wealth, if you start distributing, you will become pauper. And then elaborate చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. The other day we had a meeting here about a legendary great Telugu icon, Shri late N.T. Ramarao Garu, here only in this institution. I have gone through the proceedings and all the speeches made by the people. Simple thing one should remember in the mind is, must create wealth, preserve wealth and distribute wealth. Without creating wealth, if you start distributing, you know what will happen. And if you borrow and then distribute it without the ability to repay and leave it to the coming generations, దట్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఫేర్. అది మంచిది కాదు. రాజకీయ పార్టీలు, రాజకీయ నాయకులు అందరూ గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన విషయం అది. ఇప్పుడు అంత పెద్ద డిస్కషన్ నడుస్తుంది, ఫ్రీ బీసు ఉచితమా అనుచితమా అనేది. అది కాదు చర్చ అసలు జరగాల్సింది. ఈ మన యొక్క అభివృద్ధి చెందుతున్న దేశంలో సంక్షేమాన్ని విస్మరించలేము. సంక్షేమం చాలా అవసరం. ఎందుకంటే ఆర్థిక అసమానతలు ఉన్నాయి. 20% ఇంకా పేదరికం ఉంది ఈ దేశంలో. 20% మంది నిరక్షరాస్యులు ఉన్నారు. 20% ఆర్ illiterates, 20% are below poverty line. And you have also problems like gender discrimination. Women are being discriminated. Lot of improvements have come, but our ultimate effort is to bridge the gap. దానికోసం అన్ని ప్రయత్నాలు చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది. అది చేయాలంటే యూ మస్ట్ క్రియేట్ వెల్త్. సో యూ మస్ట్ గివ్ skills, knowledge to the children, to the younger generation. That should be the focus. Knowledge creation. Knowledge. And also there is a slight distinction between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is getting information. Wisdom, మనం అంటుంటాం కదా, మనం యుక్తాయుక్త విచక్షణ జ్ఞానం అని. ఏది సరైనది, ఏది సరైనది కాదు, ఏది మంచి అనేది తెలుసుకోగలిగే ఆ తెలివిని మనం సంపాదించాలి. కేవలం ఇన్ఫర్మేషనే కాదు, ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కూడా సరైనదిగా ఉండాలి. ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ విత్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఈజ్ మోర్ దెన్ అన్ అమినేషన్. వీ హ్యావ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్. సో ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్ సాధించే ప్రయత్నం మనం చేయాలి. అది జీవన సత్యాలను గమనించాలి, దానికోసం అన్వేషించాలి, దానికోసం తెలుసుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేయాలి. ఆ విజ్డమ్ మనకి సంపాదించే ప్రయత్నం మనం అందరూ చేయాల్సినట్టు అవసరం ఎంతో ఉంది. మిత్రులారా, నేను ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగా ఎక్కువగా మాట్లాడి అది నేను ముఖ్యంగా వచ్చింది చాలా తక్కువ నోటీస్తో వచ్చాను. నేను మామూలుగా రేపు రావాల్సి ఉండే. ఈ విషయం తెలుసుకున్న తర్వాత ఇంత మంచి పని చేస్తున్నారు కుటుంబ సభ్యులు. ఎక్కడో అమెరికాలో ఉండి మన దేశాన్ని మర్చిపోకుండా, కుటుంబం తండ్రి యొక్క ఆశయాన్ని మర్చిపోకుండా వచ్చి ఈ విద్యా సంస్థలకు సహకరించే కార్యక్రమంలో భాగస్వాములు కావాలని వచ్చారంటే నేను కూడా ఉంటే మంచిదనే ఉద్దేశంతో, కుటుంబం నాకు తెలుసు కాబట్టి, మాస్టర్ గారు ఆశయాలు ప్రకారం ఈ కార్యక్రమం నడుస్తుంది కాబట్టి దాంట్లో వచ్చి పాల్గొందామనే ఉద్దేశంతో నేను రేపు రావాల్సిన వాడిని ఇవాళే వచ్చాను. వచ్చి ఆయన సంవత్సరికంలో పాల్గొనే అవకాశం ఈరోజు సాయం సంధ్యా సమయంలో అలాంటి మంచి వ్యక్తిని గురించి, గొప్ప వ్యక్తి గురించి కొన్ని విషయాలు మీ అందరితో పంచుకునేటికి అవకాశం లభించడం చాలా సంతోషం. I only want to give one small advice and leave. భరత్, పాలిటిక్స్ మనం అనుకున్నంత ఆరోగ్యకరంగా లేవు, అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఆరోగ్యకరంగా లేవు. పాలిటిక్స్ ఆర్ నాట్ హెల్దీ. బురద గుంట కన్నా ఇంకా చండాలంగా ఉన్నాయి వాస్తవం చెప్పాలంటే. ఐఎమ్ స్ట్రాంగ్లీ యూజింగ్ ఎ వర్డ్. సో అందుకని మనం ఒకటి పట్టుదల ఉండాలా, కమిట్మెంట్ ఉండాలా. దాంతోపాటు మనం చేసే ప్రతి పని ఇది సమాజానికి ఎంతవరకు ఉపయోగపడుతుందని చెప్పిన విషయాన్ని ఆలోచించాలా. దాంతోపాటు పార్టీ, ఇవన్నీ ఇవాళ పార్టీలు కూడా ఎలా నడుస్తున్నాయో మనందరికీ తెలుసు. వాటి గురించి కూడా చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. అది చెప్పడం మొదలు పెడితే చాలా విస్తారంగా చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. నేను రాజకీయాలు లేను. I have had enough in public life and in politics. And having come from a humble village background of a farmer's family to occupy the second highest constitutional position, and then coming back, I feel that I am now more free to meet people, greet people, talking with people, walking with people, spending time with the people, eating with the people, and spending time with the people. I feel more free to speak also on larger issues. I will be speaking. That's why I told them, don't worry. నాకు అందరూ కలిసి ఆర్ ఫేర్వెల్ ఇస్తూ చాలా బాధపడంతో చెప్తున్నాను. నేను చెప్పాను, ఐఎమ్ రిటైర్డ్ బట్ నాట్ టైర్డ్. ఐ విల్ బి గోయింగ్ అరౌండ్ మీటింగ్ పీపుల్, continuing my mission of whatever I think is right, passing on to the people and saying what is right and what is wrong. ఆ కార్యక్రమం రాబోయే రోజుల్లో కూడా నేను చేస్తుంటాను. ఐ డోంట్ గెట్ ఇన్ టు ఎలక్టరల్ పాలిటిక్స్, బట్ ఐ విల్ నాట్ లీవ్ పాలిటిక్స్. ఐ విల్ బి కామెంటింగ్ ఆన్ పాలిటిక్స్ ఆల్సో, బికాస్ పాలిటిక్స్ ఇస్ లైఫ్. యూ కాంట్ టోటలీ ఇగ్నోర్ పాలిటిక్స్. కాబట్టి ఆ పాలిటిక్స్లో ఉండి కూడా మన యొక్క మూరింగ్స్ని మర్చిపోకుండా మనం ఏ ఉద్దేశానికి వచ్చామో ఆ ఉద్దేశం కోసమని ఆ రాజకీయాన్ని ఉపయోగించుకునే ప్రయత్నం చేయాలని చెప్పని యువకుడు కాబట్టి, ఉత్సాహవంతుడు కాబట్టి భరత్కు కూడా సలహా ఇస్తూ ఈరోజు ఈ మంచి పని చేస్తున్న రామకృష్ణరావు గారి కుటుంబ సభ్యులందరినీ మరొకసారి అభినందిస్తూ మీ అందరి దగ్గర సెలవు తీసుకుని నమస్కారం చేయండి.
Thank you, sir, for stimulating all of us with your warm thoughts. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share the fond memories and warm experiences you had with Professor Rao. Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Mr. Sarat Chandra Rao Koneru to address the gathering.
Honorable Venkaiah Naidu Garu, thank you for your kind and eloquent words about my father today. And thank you for your service to this great country. My father had a special bond with you, and he would be so pleased to see you here today. And my family and I are so grateful that you have taken the time from your busy schedule to change your schedule to come here and honor my father. Thank you so much, Andy. Bharat Garu, in my conversations with my father, it was always apparent the respect and trust he had in you and in your ability to lead this institution. If anyone knows my father, you would know that it's not easy to earn his trust and respect. He sets the bar very high. But when my sisters and I met with you, it is very clear to us immediately why he had that trust and respect for you and confidence in your ability to lead Geetham. And in our interactions with you, we as a family are very confident that Geetham is in great hands under your leadership. And we feel very good about our continuing relationship with this university. I would also like to take a moment to thank not just Bharat, but everyone here at Geetham that organized the function last November that honored my father. While we as a family were not able to be here, we were able to watch the video. And it was very heartwarming to see all of the people that attended and shared their stories about my father and the impact he had on their lives. So to all of you, thank you. You know, over the years, my father was approached countless times for service in government or at a variety of academic institutions. He was very selective in what he chose to participate in. And he had a very special bond with Murthy. There was a great friendship, trust, and respect. And that is what led him to accept the Chancellor position at Geetham. And, you know, he really came to relish and love this institution. Murthy Garu's untimely passing was very difficult for him. And he even briefly considered stepping down. But he actually had a conversation with Bharat. And coming out of that conversation, he decided to stay on. So Bharat, thank you for that as well. You know, 10 years ago, I spoke at my father's 80th birthday. And I spoke of the breadth of his accomplishments as a scholar. He was a visionary leader. He was a pioneer in the field of parapsychology. He was even a playwright. He was an author. And he was, as many of you spoke about, a mentor and a teacher to countless people over the years. And he was also the patriarch of our family. But as much as I was in awe of my father and what he had accomplished in the first 80 years of his life, my enduring memory of my father is how he took care of my mother in her latter years. For all that he accomplished in his great life, that was the thing that really stood out to me, because it was another aspect to the man, another dimension that I did not realize that was there. My father was someone who was revered at a very early age, and his entire life, people went the extra step to make sure all of his needs were met. So it was truly amazing for me and the rest of my family to witness a transformation that in his 80s, he went from someone who had spent his entire life being catered to someone that transformed into a caretaker that took care of my mother. And he once again showed his true character, and he once again set an example for us all. In his latter years, there were two things that gave my father purpose. One was taking care of my mother, and the second was Geetam. He truly loved getting in the car every morning and driving to this campus. He loved meeting with the leadership of Geetam and the faculty and giving his advice. He was a career academic. This was his passion, and he found this role very fulfilling. In the years and decades to follow, as people walk by this building or walk into this building, it really is my hope that they appreciate the man whose name is on the building not only for his accomplishments as a scholar and a leader, but that they also appreciate him for his character. As someone who loved this country, this state, this city, and this university, as someone who dedicated his life to public service and the common good instead of personal gain. And really all my sisters and I are trying to do is really carry on his wishes. Our family is truly honored and thankful that Geetam has chosen to honor his legacy by naming this building after him. Padma Shri Koneru Ramakrishna Rao. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for having to express your warm feelings on this occasion. We deeply appreciate your stand to make a difference. Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Purna Sagutti to address the gathering.
Good evening, and it's always an inspiration to spend time with Venkanayadu Garu and to listen to his words of wisdom. And Bharat, I want to thank you for remembering and honoring my Mawai Garu, Shri Koneru Ramakrishna Rao Garu. It is with great pride that I stand before all of you today. On behalf of Rani, Vani, Chandu, my father Madhusudan Rao Garu, my mother and Ramakrishna Rao Garu's sister Rama, my Attagaru Jyoti, my Attama Vijay Kumari, and the rest of our family, we're truly grateful. Thank you all for being here today. This is both very easy and very difficult. Very easy to talk about a great man, a man all of us revered and admired, a man all of us wanted to emulate and be like. Very difficult to talk about a loved man as we feel his absence. A giant we miss every day. I want to take a few minutes to share a few vignettes with all of you to celebrate Maui Garo's life. Whenever Ramakrishna Rao Garu walked into a room, everyone turned and looked at him. You knew that someone great, someone very special, walked in. You did not need to see him, you just felt it. That happened everywhere. In India, in the United States, and around the world. I remember I was with Maui Garu at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City many, many years ago, sitting near the gate, waiting for his flight. Maui Garu, as always, was impeccably dressed. People were looking at him, observing him. He got up to go to the restroom. Out of the blue, someone came up to me and very quietly asked, "Sir, who is he? Looks like someone very, very important." That was the impact he had on everyone around him. Those that knew him very well, and many that did not. His presence was always felt. He was a very special man. Did you know that when Ramakrishna Rao Garu was a very young man, may have been in his early 30s, and in America, he got invited to meet with Prime Minister Nehru in Delhi. The Prime Minister and others around him recognized his brilliance at that very young age and wanted him to set up a national parapsychology institute in Delhi or Kashmir, and even talked about setting it up at a very large governor's mansion in Kashmir. Ramakrishna Rao Garu shared with us that he did not fully grasp how momentous that meeting was with the Prime Minister and what they were offering him. Think about that. He was in his early 30s. What a huge recognition. To their extreme surprise, being the strong Telugu man he is, he told them he wants to set it up in Vizag at Andhra University. He and we always wondered what other magic he could have created if he was in Delhi from that early age. But selfishly, we were all very lucky he was here in Vizag, and we all benefited from being around him. Benefited and inspired. As they say, the greatness of a man is how many people he inspires. That is what Ramakrishna Rao Garu did every day. Inspire people around him. When Ramakrishna Rao Garu was in Hyderabad, as a close confidant and advisor to Chief Minister N.T. Rama Rao Garu, I had the honor of having breakfast with NTR and Maui Garu at the Chief Minister's home. It was a fascinating experience. It was a memorable experience. I watched as NTR probed and asked for advice on varied number of topics, both small and big issues. Maui Garu was thoughtful and brilliant in his analysis and his responses, and did not flinch on any one single topic. It felt like it was second nature for him, and he had seen this movie many times before. Whilst all of us know this was a completely new experience for him, he was brilliant in any and every forum. Nothing was too daunting for him. He was a polymath and a savant, a man of exceptional talent, a brilliant man with deep intellect that I always found difficult to keep up with and totally comprehend what he was saying. He was always way above me. He was a scholar in many areas, an accomplished businessman, a successful investor that was way ahead of his times and saw value that others rarely did. A collector of art and antiques that no one else could find. A writer who published over 25 books. A poet, an athlete, and just an all-round great man. Wow. He is one of those people that we rarely come across in our lifetime. As all of you know, Mawai Garu was a student of Mahatma Gandhi. And I am reminded today of what Pope John Paul II said of the Mahatma. He said, "The light that shone in this country was no ordinary light. The light that has illuminated this country for many years will continue to illuminate this country for many, many more years." This was Pope John Paul II on Mahatma Gandhi. That, ladies and gentlemen, for us as a family, is how we feel about Mawai Garu. Very apt, very appropriate. His guiding light will always be the North Star for all of us in the family today and for many generations to come. We were blessed with that brilliant light. We, as children, were always in awe of Mawai Garu. We wanted to be like him. When he smiled, it made our day. When he patted you on the back, it made our year. But when he got angry and expressed his disappointment in you, you looked for a corner to crawl into. He was larger than life for all of us, for our entire extended family. When he spoke, everyone listened. There was pin-drop silence. When he wanted something, he got it. When he suggested something, we did it. When he smiled, it was contagious, and we all smiled. When he was unhappy, we all knew it. And when he was kind, we all felt it. He was the bedrock of the foundation of our family. He was the backbone of our family. Bharat, thank you. We are all very grateful for this recognition of naming this wonderful and beautiful building after Ramakrishna Rao Garu. Koneru Ramakrishna Rao Bhavan. Beautiful. Thank you. I read something recently that said, to live in the hearts of those you leave behind is never to die. To live in the hearts of those you leave behind is never to die. That is how we feel, Mawai Garu. You're always with us because you are in our hearts. Every one of us. Love you, Mawai Garu, and thank you for touching us and blessing us.
Thank you, sir, for so vividly knitting together all the beautiful reminiscences of Professor Rao. Thank you very much. May I now request the Registrar, Professor Gunashekaran, to propose vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening. 30th October 2022 is a special day for Geetham University. Humanities and Social Sciences building is named after Padma Shri, Professor Koneru Ramakrishna Rao, a distinguished academician, an inspiring teacher, and above all, a great human being. Professor Ramakrishna Rao is a source of inspiration to members of faculty and students. Koneru Ramakrishna Rao Bhavan will symbolize, I am sure, hard work, innovation, and contribution to the society. A few minutes before this, Koneru Ramakrishna Rao Bhavan was dedicated for the cause of higher education by a statesman and a highly respected leader across political affiliations, and the former Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu. I thank Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu for his benevolent presence and dedicating this building to the society. The noble father's desire was fulfilled by the noble children with a generous contribution for the promotion of higher education. I thank Shri Chacellor Rao, Srimati Rani Rao, and Srimati Vani Rao for their generosity and good gesture. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'ams. I thank Shri Purna Sagruti for his recollections of his memories, great memories with late Professor Ramakrishna Rao. So vivid and clear, you have given a detailed account, which is an inspiration to many, many families and many, many students and many, many teachers here and elsewhere. I thank the members of the governing body of Geetham. I thank the members of the board of management of Geetham for their presence here on this occasion. In the audience, there are many former vice chancellors, present vice chancellors, deans, professors, distinguished academicians, guests who were associated with Professor Ramakrishna Rao. I thank each one of them for your presence here. Thank you so much. I thank our visionary president, Shri M. Sri Bharat. His pace of thinking and pace of action, they are meticulously synchronized. It's very remarkable. And I thank you, sir, for your leadership. I thank another person who speaks very less, but he does constructive things for the growth of this university. He is Mr. M. Bardwaj, our secretary, Geetham. I thank Professor M. Gangadhar Rao, Vice President. I thank Professor Dayanand Siddhavatam, Vice Chancellor. I thank Professor Gautam Rao, Pro Vice Chancellor, Campus Life. I thank Professor Jaishankar E. Warrior, Pro Vice Chancellor, Academics. I thank Professor Geetanjali Padmanabhan, Pro Vice Chancellor, Medical Sciences, Deans, Heads of Schools, Heads of Departments, members of the faculty, members of the staff, students, guests, media friends, all for your support and help in organizing this function. I thank you once again, each one of you here. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the program draws to a close here. Thank you for your time and presence. Thank you very much. Yeah. We request you to please partake in the high tea arranged outside the auditorium. Thank you very much. Yes, I think. Yeah, there's a room adjacent to the auditorium. You may please partake in tea.
Yeah, so the tea is in the room on the other side of the corridor. Please join us. Thank you.